Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me for another Sims 3 speed video where I am back in Sunset Valley doing my edits to the world, where I am getting it ready to renovate in its entirety, but I'm also coming into Creator World to do some edits so that it's a little more friendly for some additional lots to cater to gameplay that came in later expansion packs. In the footage here, you can see me, I guess, just playing around with the terrain behind Mirabello Plaza, and I'm planning to add a whole heap of new lots behind here that overlook the beach. And yeah, this is just a perfect spot for extra community lots, and you can kind of do this in the vanilla game, but the road and the terrain around it isn't the best to work with. I think even just placing lots, I think I said in that last video that placing lots in game up against roads, it can be really finicky. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and I think this is one of the areas in vanilla Sunset Valley where it just doesn't really work that well. So and it's kind of one of the reasons why I started doing this whenever I play Sunset Valley, like editing the world and Creator World. It's just because I feel like there's so much wasted space behind the town center, and it's a really good spot to overlook, build some lots that actually overlook the beach there. Because I noticed that all the community lots pretty much face towards the town center, and so none of them face towards the water, which is, I guess it kind of makes sense. In a town center, you want the buildings to face the town center, like the park and stuff, but I mean, really, there's only one row of lots between the town center and I guess this plot of land here. So I'm making another row of community lots, and I think I might put a residential along here as well, just to, maybe create like a little urban home, or I'm not thinking like an apartment, I don't know, maybe an apartment, who knows. But yeah, I am adding a whole bunch of community lots back here. I'm not 100% settled on what I want to put back here, but I've got plenty of space, so I'm kind of spoiled for choice in terms of what I want, what I can build. But yeah, just haven't quite decided. I did have to get rid of the pool because the pool lot is a really weird shape, and I wanted the sidewalks to enclose the lots, and so, or wrap around them, and so in order to get that to work neatly with the museum lot, I did have to get rid of the pool. I will rebuild a pool at some stage, probably, I don't know, will I renovate the existing one? It's kind of hard for me to do that because the lot that I actually put there is smaller, so I would pretty much have to recreate the lot in its entirety and then renovate it, and I don't know if I really want to do that. I have actually done that before, and that wasn't very fun, just recreating the original lot. It was very tedious, so I think I might just go for an original build for that one, and yeah, we'll see how we go. So as well as placing the lots, I'm just fiddling around with the roads as well. I kind of, in this video, I'm just going around the town center area and just doing some additions here and there and tidying things up a bit. One thing I didn't say in the last video that I really should have said was the overall kind of style that I'm going for. I think I alluded to it in that I want the world to still feel like Sunset Valley. Like, I don't want it to feel like I don't know, like Bridgeport or anything like that. So I'm not going to be placing any of the nightlife. No, late night. I was thinking of The Sims 2. I'm not going to be placing any of the late night skyscrapers or any of the other rabbit holes that came with later expansion packs, because I feel like these base game ones, some of them are really, well, I mean, I think really the only ugly one is the stadium. I hate it. It's so big and just obnoxious and ugly, and I can see why Max has hid it and nestled it in the hills away from society, because that is just one disgusting building. But so I have no issue with the base game rabbit hole, so I'm going to keep them the same so that the town maintains the same look and feel. And I think for the renovations, I'm going to like maybe experiment a little bit with playing around with some of the color schemes that Max has kind of used when they were building their lots in Sunset Valley, because a lot of them are quite vibrant and saturated. They don't always look that good. I think there is some charm to the Sunset Valley builds. I don't hate them. I don't hate all of them. I know some people don't like them, and I've seen a lot of criticism about the color schemes that are used in the Sunset Valley builds. But I feel like they're quite fun, and it could be fun to renovate them and kind of maintain those saturated colors, as well as doing, like, I don't want to do that for all of the builds, but I think there might be some where I actually do kind of keep the more kind of in your face color schemes that Max has went for. But so here I am. I'm just next to the spa, fixing up the road so that it lined up with the spa itself, or the lot, and I built a whole footpath network behind the lofts, all these kind of residential lots that I guess they were trying to emulate apartment buildings, but of course there weren't apartment buildings when the base game came out, so it's the closest thing that they could do. So I've just kind of pathed off an area behind it. I got rid of the swimming pool because I don't want there to be 2 swimming pools in Sunset Valley. I think there only really needs to be 1, but my plan for that lot is to actually make like a basketball court. And yeah, so I just didn't want the area behind these lots to just kind of be like a grassy hill. I wanted it to look a little more developed. So I'm just flattening out the terrain, and I'm making space for another lot. Usually when I place this lot, and actually I'm fixing up the road because it wasn't lining up straight with the grid. So I straighten that up, fix up the road, and then I think I will come and fix these trees as well so they line up with the road a bit better. But the lot that I've placed next to, or the additional lot that I've added here, is probably going to be for the fire station. I want most of the workplaces anyway to be in the town centre, so I feel like this is a good place for the fire station, although it is right next to some residential lots there. So I don't know about how the Sims living there are going to feel about living next to a fire station, but I'm going to put it there anyway. And yeah, I think it just in general it looks good there. So I've just come back to this section of the town centre, and there is a big portion that I cut out. So it currently has a road down the centre of it that goes down to, I think it's Sunlong Drive, and I end up getting rid of that road because with the additional lots that I placed up on the, I guess on top of the ridge there, that center road ends up becoming really, really steep. So I did finick around with it a lot. Like, I spent so much time trying to make it look not so steep, but also that it didn't, the gradient of the road didn't affect the lots that were above it. So in the end, I just get rid of it and I just change it to a path network down there. I'm also adding in this it's a retaining wall, but I just wanted it for the fence. So yeah, I'm just adding this here. But back to that road. So I just replace it with a path because, yeah, I mean, a path was a lot easier to work with. And there's already 2 roads down to Sunlong. I think, is it Sunlong Drive or Sunlong Avenue? I think it's Sunlong something. But there's already 2 roads down there. So I felt that, a 3rd road was a little excessive, and given it was giving me so much trouble, I just got rid of it and replaced it with a path. And I think it looks really good, and to me it just makes much more sense. But here I am just fixing up the retaining wall, just hiding it behind the terrain because I don't want it to look like a retaining wall. I just like the look of the fence better. I just felt that it looked more urban. And yeah, this area here just in general was so difficult to work with. Even when I was taking the screenshots for this video, I even noticed quirks that I'm going to have to go in and fix, especially with the terrain not being completely flat. I don't mind some little kinks here and there, but there's just some random weird dips that I'm going to go back in and fix at some stage. But yeah, here you can see I'm still, I mean, I cut most of this footage out of me trying to get the road to work, but you can see that I'm trying to level it out and then smooth it so that it doesn't affect the gradient of the path or the lots next to it. But the road just looks ridiculously steep and just makes no sense. So cutting away from it now because I was just tired of it. And so I'm just adding in a few more trees because I did get rid of some to make way for those new lots, and I'm just playing around with these trees here as well just to get them all lined up. I think get rid of that entire row and then just replace them. And moving on to this little section here, so as I said earlier, I didn't really like, because I'm kind of making the town center look a little more developed, I didn't really want there to be just an empty grassy hill behind these kind of apartment buildings. I'm probably going to turn these buildings into proper apartment buildings. And usually what I do when I do that, because I have done this a couple of times before, what I usually do is I will make only one floor I guess active, whereas the rest of the floors are kind of, you know, they're blacked out, you can't access them. And they end up being really nice little apartments. They're quite cheap as well, so I guess Sims that are just starting out or need somewhere really cheap to live, or, you know, Sims who just don't want like a backyard, or, you know, I guess the high maintenance that comes with a big property, can live there. So that's my plan for them. And so yeah, I just wanted this backspace here to look more developed, so just adding in some shrubs and some rocks, and I put a path network that just kind of loops around this landscaping here. Just adding in some terrain paint because it needs some extra detail. And I was going to place some trees at that point, but I thought I would try placing, actually no, why didn't I? No, I did place some trees and then I do the path network. I thought I did the path network first and then I did the trees, but no, I did it the other way around. But yeah, just a little path network that comes around here and links up. One thing I wish we could do was place functional objects around the world. I've never even looked into it. Maybe you can, and there's a way to do it, but I would really like to just place maybe some benches along here so it's not like a proper park, but you can just kind of, you know, I don't know, come over here and sit down on a bench or something and, you know, enjoy the behind these apartments. I don't know, but I might do some research into that and see if it's possible to place functional objects in Creator World, like around the world. But yeah, definitely something that I haven't even bothered looking into, so someone who's watching this might even know the answer. I did do some landscaping around here, and this is the initial landscaping that I did, but I wasn't really happy with it. It just looked really just slapped together and not very tidy. So I just redid that by adding some, I think those are boxwood shrubs and some hydrangeas, but a little more modest. So they're just in the corners here, and then there's that tree in the middle. So I am back to this end of town, and I'm just adding some detail to this kind of grassy area here. Again, I said in the last video that when I kind of square off the community lots with paths, I don't like, well, I try and avoid having just like square plots of, well, I like the world to look a little more organic and I guess round. So I like to kind of add paths on the end of community lots that kind of twist and turn so that things look more, I guess, less harsh or natural. I don't know. Even though there's nothing really natural about a footpath, but it just looks more gracious, I think, when there's like a nice winding path that comes off a kind of a square set of lots or something. Now I added an extra lot down here, and I only did that just because there was enough room for it. So I thought, well, may as well do it seeing as I'm here. And here I am just, here's me adjusting some of the streetlights because streetlight placement in this world is very inconsistent. And I did do it, I think last weekend I spent a lot of time doing it, and then Creator World crashed, so I have to go through and do a lot of it again. So I'm really not looking forward to doing that, but it needs to be done. It's something that I can't stand. And just in the middle of town, I'm adding a path network between the hospital, the school, and the diner. And again, this is just to make it look more kind of urban and developed. And I guess, Sims can kind of walk between these spaces now, whereas I don't even know if they would walk along the grassy areas if they need it. Well, they probably got taxis or cars or whatever if they wanted to go from like the office tower to the museum, for example. But now there's a path network here, so hopefully that means that the area is a little more walkable, and Sims will actually, prefer walking to destinations around town as opposed to driving. But yeah, putting the trees back, but just added a few more. I did have to get rid of the trees between the hospital and the diner, which I was kind of bummed about because I think that looks nice too, but I did want to add a path down there, and there wasn't enough space for kind of a path and 2 rows of trees. It either had to be a path or a row of trees. So I've come behind or beside the police station, just fixed up the road so that it is more square, so that the police station is more square up against the road. And I'm just playing around with the road now. I actually thought, because I was talking about the stadium before, because I was thinking about the area where the stadium is, and I thought maybe I could turn that into like a residential lot that's a bit more kind of rural and maybe like a farm or something. Because I think it's a nice place for it. It's quite secluded. Doesn't look like it gets much sunlight, so I don't know how good it would be for a farm, but it is The Sims. And so I thought about moving this is why I'm kind of angry about the stadium, or I just really don't like it, because I thought about moving the stadium to the town centre, and I thought about putting it like across the road from the police station, and, getting rid of all the landscaping there in that path and putting it there. But yeah, the stadium is just so big and ugly. Like when I placed the stadium just on an empty lot and would zoom out to see how it actually made the overall town look, it just looks terrible. So so annoyed by it. But now I'm back to I don't even know what I'm going to call this section, but it's the area that I just edited. And I am adding in, I took out that road that goes down the hill, that ridiculously steep road, and I've just kind of adjusted I am adjusting the retaining wall here, and I'm getting it ready to bring a path down that goes, just winds all the way down, and then it goes between 2 residential lots. And that, I quite like how it goes between 2 residential lots, because then it kind of creates this cute little alleyway between 2 houses, and I kind of can't wait to kind of fence that off. And I think when I renovate the Frio brothers house, I'm going to bring their fence so it goes right up against the lot, and it creates like this really cool like alleyway effect between their lot and the one next to it, which is the house to the right here. I mean, as much as I love Sunset Valley, I do not know the addresses by heart, so I just know the houses by what they look like. With the Frio brothers house, for some reason it kind of broke when I was trying to move the lot, so like part of the building would move and then the other part would stay put, and like I've been able to move lots, like other lots, just fine, but I don't know what it is about their lot, so I had to delete it. I will come back and place it. There was one point where I actually accidentally deleted the museum. I don't actually think I've done it yet, maybe I have, but I did accidentally delete the museum, and so I had to just come back and place that again. So if I do delete, the museum's gone, I just saw. But if I do delete lots for whatever reason, I will place them down again, with the exception of the swimming pool, because again, just maintaining that Sunset Valley feel, keeping those Sunset Valley heirlooms. So continuing to work on the path. and I just flattened out the terrain a bit. It kind of created this weird kind of cliff, and I tried to smooth it out, but then in the end I ended up working with it and just kind of extending the cliff that it extends out from. Because yeah, when I smoothed out the terrain, it made the path go all wonky. So I just left it as it is and added some additional kind of rock terrain paint. And adding in a few more trees, and then I'm just going to go through and add some more, or extend the, I guess the landscaping that I've done around the retaining wall to the extended parts of it where the road used to be. Adding in some rocks for those extra details. I feel like the rocks just make a whole heap of difference. And then, what am I going to move on to next? It kind of got a bit annoying with the retaining wall just because it's so big I couldn't really click anything else. I had to keep moving the retaining wall if I wanted to play around with any of the like landscaping or whatever I'd done around it. But here I am with the police station, and what I needed to do here was extend the lot out so it lined up with the library lot, and just flatten the terrain so I could put a path behind it. And then I'm also going to put a path between the library and the police station. I'm just flattening out the terrain so that the paths don't look all uneven. The two roads that they do connect to, so I fixed those up as well. So I'm pulling this one back, and I think this is Mirabello Drive actually, yeah. I'm pulling that road back, and I'm adding another set of lots. These are smallish lots next to the bistro. So just clearing out the trees, and I'm going to start flattening the terrain, and then I will place an additional 2 lots behind here. I still haven't decided what I'm going to put here, or really anywhere, like nothing set in stone just yet, but I think I might put in some like high-end shops or something, because the bistro is quite a nice building and it is the fancier of the 2 restaurants, so I feel like some kind of high-end retail would go quite nicely in these little lots here. So one very, very small lot, and then one kind of more longish lot. I can't remember the name, the size that it is, but yeah, and then I'm just fixing up the terrain around the lots, making it look more natural, and then I'm going to put in the path network that goes all the way around these lots. So in between the bistro and the smaller lot, and around the bigger one as well. I think that's one of the exceptions where I don't kind of add another path off this kind of squared off section of path, because there isn't really anywhere else for it to go. I mean, it could maybe wind up the hill, but yeah, that doesn't really make much sense to me. It's a dead end, and I'm okay with that. And to finish off this area, I'm just playing around with some more of the terrain, making sure it's level and that there's no quirky bits. And then this kind of space here, I just paint in with some more rock. I like to do that where there are unroutable areas. I haven't actually gone through the world and looked at all the unroutable areas, but I will do that and see if it's, if it'll look good with some terrain paint. This road here, the Mirabello Drive, I did flatten it because when I moved it, it just kind of went all wonky. So I flattened it and then just added some terrain paint next to it, so it looks like the road kind of carves into the hill a bit. And now I'm by the warehouse, the abandoned warehouse, just fixing up the path, because this path is actually broken in the vanilla game. It doesn't even connect to the road properly. So I fixed that up, and then I'm adding in a lot next to it. Now, this is one of the exceptions where I know exactly what I'm going to put here. I'm going to put the dive bar here. It's kind of in the seedy area of town, even though it's not that far away from, I mean, you can see the office tower there, so it's not that far off from it, but it's close enough to the abandoned warehouse, so I feel like it would be a good spot for a dive bar. Now in a moment we're going to head into the screenshot, so I'm going to say thanks so much for watching. It's been a pleasure to bring this to you. I hope you've enjoyed it and you stick around to see what I do with Sunset Valley. I will let you go and say take care, and I will talk to you later.